Hi, this is Scott at RVing Live the Dream. And when you're living the dream and you're cruising down the highway, sometimes you got to make sure that your tires are inflated and staying inflated while you're driving. One of the bad things about what you see on the side of the road is people having flat tires and are waiting for hours for tow service. Or even worse than that, you get a tire blowout, and a tire blowout can actually cause vehicle damage. So one way to stop that from occurring is to monitor your tire pressure. Now some vehicles come automatically with that, but if you don't have a system on there that comes from the factory, you can always have it installed yourself. So they have it available in the aftermarket, and we chose TST Truck Systems technology. So that's the one that we chose. They've been around for a while, and it's made for semis. You actually can program up to 22 different sensors, and this one monitoring system will monitor all 22 sensors, up to that many. Now we're only going to install 4 on my 95 Chevy van, so we're only going to install 4 of them. But the nice thing also, what you can do is, even though you might have a vehicle that has a tire pressure monitoring system on the actual car, what about when you tow it? Since the car's not, you're not driving the car, you're not monitoring it inside, the car's not on. You can put one of these, you can put a set of these on your car. That way, you can monitor it while you're driving. While you're driving your RV and you're towing your vehicle behind you, you can have it on your RV and on your tow vehicle. So if you blow out a tire on your tow vehicle, you can see it and it'll alert you to that.
Do you need a separate monitor for your tow?
No, this has a 60 foot range. So as long as you're within 60 feet, you can. You can do it with just the kit that you buy. As long as you have enough sensors, you gotta buy enough sensors for it.
How many sensors do you need?
Well, you would need however many you have, however many tires you need on your RV. But again, 4 sensors for your tow vehicle. So one for each tire on your tow vehicle, plus however many you have on your RV. And you have one monitor. Well, the kit comes with all this. That you have one monitor that monitors all of that. So you monitor all 22 sensors, and it constantly switches between them as you're going down the road. And if one that goes flat, it'll pop up with an alert if it goes below your minimum setting.
And where do you get that from?
We bought this at the RV show in Tampa, Florida. So we bought this from a vendor at the RV show. You can also buy it at www.tsttruck.com. You can also get it from them. That's the manufacturers of the system. So you can get it from them as well. The kit comes with the 4 sensors that we bought. You can wire it directly. So this would go into the side to keep it. It has a rechargeable battery on the inside, so you can plug it in. You can wire it directly into your vehicle and then plug it in, or it has a 12 volt adapter that you can plug in, or you can just plug it in when you're not using it, and then when you want to use it, you can use Velcro or something and then just stick it on your dash and not have it plugged in. It has a battery inside, so you don't have to have it plugged in all the time if you don't want to. It also comes with a couple different mounts. So we have this one. Again, it just has like a little blade there. This goes into a slot right here. So you can mount it like that, so it sits up nice. Or it comes with a mount that will stick to your windshield glass. So
A suction cup mount?
Yep, so it has a suction cup mount that will stick to your windshield glass. And then this adapter sits right on the back of this. It just slides in. So you can do it either way, however you like to do it, or you can just put Velcro on the back and just Velcro it to your dash if that's what you want to do. So whichever way you want to do it would work fine, as long as you can see it and you can monitor it while you're driving. Another nice thing about these is that you're thinking, you know, they're pretty expensive for the sensors, and someone can just come by, take it right off your valve stems. These thread right under your valve stems on your car. No additional installation, no special breaking down the tires. They just thread right on where you add your air on your valve stems, and they read the pressure right off. You think, well, someone can just come over and just take them off and they get free sensors. Well, no, there's a special tool that you use, and what happens is if you use that tool and you're going to thread that on, if you notice, I'm holding the sensor, right? So you're just going to thread that on and just use the tool to turn it on and tighten it. If someone comes by now, if that's nice and tight and that's being held by the valve stem, and they say, well, I'm just going to come by and steal this guy's sensor, it doesn't do anything. It's being held on tight.
So do you have to take that off with that tool every time you
Yeah,
mow?
you have to keep the tool so you can take them on and off.
How often do you have to take them on and off?
Well, that depends. They have two different styles that you can buy. They're both the same price, but if you buy, they have this style, which is the one that we bought, which is about a 1-year battery life. They use a watch battery, so every year we'll have to replace the batteries inside, and then, or you can buy them for 5 years. They last for 5 years, but you can't. They're not serviceable by you. You have to send them back to TST, and for $20 a sensor, they will replace the batteries for you, but the batteries will last for 5 years.
So how much is a regular battery, the watch battery?
They're like $3 or $4. You could buy the regular watch batteries for these. Okay, so again, we chose the first one where we can just do it ourselves. We don't have to worry about sending them out and getting them back, especially because we travel a lot. So, if it takes them, a couple weeks, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks to get those out, we might not be in the same place that we sent them out at. So, and we might not know exactly where to send them back at when we send them out. So, we just figured we just do it ourselves.
So are there two different caps?
Yeah, there are two different styles. Some are serviceable with the batteries, and some are not.
No, the one that goes through.
Oh, yes. Now we didn't get those. You can get these, which you would plug right on the end of your valve stem and be kind of like a cap for your valve stem. Or on the box, we do the same thing. This would thread on, and then on the other side, you actually can add more tire pressure to it without having to take this off. So if it does go low, without having to take that off to add pressure like you would do with these, to take this off to add tire pressure or air to it, it'll just flow through the sensor.
So why did you choose the ones you chose?
Because of the space limitations in the vehicle this is going on, we don't have room for these. These are a little bit longer. They're about another ½ an inch or so longer, and I don't have that kind of space. So we chose these because of that. So all this comes included in the kit. Give you instructions, extra screws and extra O-rings when you're servicing it. So you have all that included on here. The instructions are very self-explanatory. They do a pretty good job as far as explaining how to do it. And if you come over here, I'll show you how to do that.
Or you can come over here.
So the on and off switch is on the side, and then you have the buttons across the top. So you turn it on, and the nice thing was that this already came with batteries. Now this comes with, in the kit, it comes with little tags.
Little labels.
And you can label them however you like. I just used 1, 2, 3, 4, which you can see in the sensors, so I know where they go.
Sensors are numbered?
I put numbers on them because they all look the same. And if I program one and I don't remember where I put it, because it gets specific to the vehicle. And if you ever have a tire rotation, you're going to have to reprogram them so you know position again. Okay? Now to reprogram it, I've already programmed these sensors so I already have them in the correct locations. See how it's moving back and forth from one to the other?
Mm-hmm.
Now there's nothing on there, so they're not picking up anything. So we'll go into mode. All you do, now that it's in there, you see it's flashing. That's the sensor that it's going to program. And all you do is hold this down next to the sensor, and it's programmed this sensor to that position. Now all you got to do is do the same thing. Hit code. Hit mode. Hit mode will move it. Oops. go into that one. See how it changed it?
Mm-hmm.
So I put it to a different sensor, right?
Yes.
And when we put it back to the first one, to that position, and it changed it back to the original one again.
So you just have to put the sensor at the bottom of the box?
Bottom of the box, yeah.
Okay.
And if you just hit the plus and minus to move it.
To go to the next tire?
Right. So that one's my next one. Hit code. And programmed it.
And it's all the same.
And if you don't want, this is just a default. So you see how it has 22 different tire values? This one's already been programmed. This one's only number 3. Do it again. And number 4 is here. And then once you're done, you hit mode. See how it has all the tires up there?
Mm-hmm.
It only keeps the sensors that you've programmed. The rest of them go away.
Okay.
Okay? And that's it.
So what happens when you're low on a tire? What's it look like? And what pressure do you put it at, the high and the low?
The tire pressures that I set this to, the value that they have for this from default is that they say that most tires fail between 158 to 200 degrees, or I'm sorry, 180 and 200 degrees. So the default value is 158 degrees that they program this with. Now you can change that if you want. I did not, because they don't recommend that you change it. So at 158 degrees, when the tires get that hot, it'll send a warning to me if any of the tires get that warm, to let me know that my tires are getting too hot. Maybe I have to pull over the side of the road and let them cool down before I continue. The pressures that I set this to is I normally run this. I have extra loads on this car, so I normally run them at about 40 psi, and I set it about 15 psi higher and about 10 psi lower. That way, if I get a little bit less, I'm okay, because it'll tell you the exact pressure. So if you're running, you can set those different by axle. Not by tire, by axle. So you can run a different, like the front axle and the back axle at a different pressure and temperature if you want, but you can't do it by tire.
So if it says you put 40 psi into my tire, what do you set that at?
Remember, tire temperature is going to go up and pressure is going to rise as you drive down the street. The tire manufacturer recommends a certain pressure when the tire is cold. They realize that the pressure is going to be higher as you get the tires hot. So I raise about 15 psi, because I know it's going to rise when they get hot, to warn me, and about
So what
10
should it be
psi
at?
too low.
What should it be at if your tires are 40?
That's the range from 30
Oh.
to 40 to 55 is my range of normal operation.
Oh, okay.
I want to be alerted if it falls below that. I want to be alerted if it goes above 55. All right.
All right.
But it will always tell you as it cycles through. But as you're driving, it'll cycle through, and then it'll tell you what the actual pressure is. So if you're unhappy, or just sending you a flag or a warning before it even gets to that level, you can always take corrective action at that point. All right. So installation is pretty simple. Once you get them set up, you just put them in. Remember, I put labels on these so I know which position they're going to go on. I just put them on the top of the cap so that I know where they're supposed to go. And that's it for programming this and setting this up. The instructions are very clear, and there is a video if you need on the website. Have a good one, and happy trails.